He is playing the Invisible Man role in today's show. He actually is the Invisible Man in today's show on Halloween.
He's probably taking pictures of himself on the blue turf, on the Smurf turf.
Right. He is a Smurf for Halloween, actually, Brent. So if you're watching us on the stream right now, or if you're not watching us on the stream right now, go to the stream because I did dress up for Halloween. So this morning, we had a big iHeartRadio Halloween party. And there was big incentives for this, Brent, if you didn't know. Did you see the incentives for this Halloween party that we had today at iHeart?
I read the email like a month ago.
So
I don't remember.
The incentive was Halloween dress-up party, Halloween contest, winner gets $300, second place gets $200. So I said, look, I need to step my game up here a little bit. I need to be a little bit creative. And I do like Halloween. Halloween's actually like one of my low-key kind of favorite holidays. And I'll tell you why in a moment. But I was like, look, I got to dress up. I got to figure out what I'm going to be. But I can't just be like a banana or like a taco or something like I could have been. But I wanted to try something like a little more creative. So if you aren't right now, if you're listening on the iHeart app or you're listening on the radio, you want to see what I dressed up as, go to our YouTube page, Jon and Jim 760, and you might say, "Oh, you're an umpire, Jim," because I'm wearing an umpire gear right now, Brent. I got the baseball cap on, I got the umpire stuff, the shirt on, I got the umpire bag with the hold on, let me pull this out here. I got the little ticker here to show like the balls and strikes. I got the what else do I got in here? I got the little duster for the plate, right? Dust off the plate there. I was like, that's not good enough. I can't just be an umpire. What in baseball do we always talk about with umpires? What do we need to?
That they suck.
Yes, they suck. Umpires do suck. But what do we need like to have the game evolve into? Robot umpires. So I'm a robot. I'm a robot umpire. If you're listening to me, you have no idea what's going on. But if you want to see what I'm a robot ump. I never miss a call. I get 100% on my scorecards every game. I am the anti-Angel Hernandez, and I am a robot umpire. Does it stick, Brent? Did I stick the landing on this one or what?
You look like Osimo from South Park.
I am Osimo.
Adam Sandler.
I am robot umpire. So I did a little arts.
John just chimed in on the chat. He says to keep that on the entire show.
Does it sound, because in my head right now, like my headset, it sounds a little weird. Does it sound?
You sound normal.
I sound normal?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I could do this. I could do it for the entire show, right?
Might as well.
I mean, it's not like it's not going to fall off or anything. Like, and I put on the front here, Robot Ump 3000. I never miss a call. I get every single call correct. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But at least for the first couple segments, I guess I could wear this. Now, it does absolutely nothing for you if you're listening on the radio. Absolutely nothing for you on the radio. This is a visual thing going on right now. But if you want to see on our YouTube stream, Jon and Jim 760, I'm a robot ump. So there you go.
I couldn't guess it.
But
you didn't have the robot part on when I saw you. My first guess when I saw you sitting there, I just saw the black shirt and the black hat. I was like, dude, are you Sean Lewis?
Because you saw me from the side.
Yeah.
Right?
And he always wears like that one black Aztec shirt and the black hat. So I was like, dude, are you Sean Lewis? He's like, no. And then you stood up. I was like, oh, are you Angel Hernandez? And you're like, no, hold on. And then you put the top
right.
on. Like,
I could have been Angel Hernandez. I could have been like the blind umpire. Right. I low-key do like Halloween a lot because in my family, Brent, we have a Halloween tradition that was started by my grandpa. I think I may have said this on the radio before, where every Halloween when I was growing up, we had at my grandparents' house a popcorn stand because he used to work in a salt company and they always had the best popcorn. So he would create a popcorn stand mostly for parents bringing their kids around. So instead of, giving out candy, give the kids popcorn, and then give like the parents a little alcohol on the side, like a little Baileys inside their coffee. And I just grew up always liking Halloween for that reason, because my mom and my grandpa, they did a Halloween popcorn stand, dressed up the whole entire place, and they kind of went all out for Halloween. So it kind of just was like something I just grew up with. So I low-key actually really like Halloween a lot. And a couple of years I haven't really gone into it because it's like, I'm not going to do anything. But when I like have my mindset on something, like I'm going to be this, I end up doing it. So have you ever dressed up for Halloween before, Brent?
Not since like we were forced to when we were kids in like elementary school.
But if you were to dress up, what would you have dressed up as this year?
I have no idea. I'm not a big Halloween person. I like that they play horror movies all month on TV and candy, but that's about it.
That's okay. I get it. It's fine. But
but Peanut has costumes. I don't have costumes.
Now I do like dressing up dogs on Halloween. I love that. Like I love like the little like costumes that they wear. One of our costumes in the Halloween iHeart costume contest brought in a dog. Probably shouldn't say what the costume was on the radio, but just think about what's been in the dogs lately in the world of news and media. And
I think I got it.
And then there were someone dressed up as gum on a shoe, and it was over on Channel 933. Gina Latina and Chris and their producer dressed up as two shoes, and then one of them was a piece of gum on the shoe. I thought that was pretty creative as well.
Original.
So I didn't win the Halloween iHeart contest, even though I spent like a half hour last night making this ridiculous cardboard box that tried to look like a robot head to put over my head.
How long did it take?
Well, it took longer than 30 minutes, I can tell you that. Maybe like an hour or two.
That's even better.
Because I had to go get the box, and then I had to spray paint the box, and then I had to cut out the box, and then I had to like figure out how to make it so people knew what I was right away. So I didn't have the sticker on the front here that says Robot Ump, and I put that on this morning, and I was like, okay, now if you're looking at me, I guess you could tell I'm a Robot Ump. So there you go. If you're watching on the stream, you're welcome. I'm a Robot Ump. I never miss a call. Last night, Brent, I'm bearing the lead here. Last night, Aztecs in their exhibition game against Cal State San Marcos, the score was a lopsided game. It put up 80 points. It was never going to be a game that you could take too much away from, really.
It's an exhibition. It's
an exhibition. And I liked that you saw guys like Magoon and BJ really, okay, this is some things you can see that you're going to see in the regular season with the injuries that they're dealing with right now. And I think that the depth of this team this year is going to be actually really good. I even with Reese down, it's going to show like the team depth and how I think good it is. But overall, it was just like here's a little amuse-bouche to the start of the season, which will start next week here at Viejas Arena.
A little what?
An amuse-bouche. You know what that is?
No, obviously not. That's why I was like, what the hell did you just say?
An amuse-bouche is, you might be thinking, wait, what? It's a food, Brian. It's like what the French call a little bite. So before,
I forgot you went to Europe. Now you're a world
right.
traveler.
I'm a world traveler.
That's
yeah.
what the French call.
Yeah. If you go to like a really high-end nice restaurant and you have like I don't remember how many course meal you get, they give you a little amuse-bouche between every like course, and it's just like almost like a palate cleanser, or just like a one bite.
Oh, okay.
So it's like a one bite little thing that gets you ready for your meal.
Okay.
So that's what I was saying. Like last night felt like an amuse-bouche to the start of the regular season which gets going next week. Yeah, in our chat right now on YouTube, Farrell Compton said Rich was there. He looked good last night. I think Magoon had a couple nice plays. Miles Bird also looked really good as well. They're long, they're lengthy, they can play defense. Scoring the basketball is going to be the one thing that will be the question mark for this team this year with Reese Waters down for about 2 months or so. And I feel absolutely ridiculous wearing this, doing a radio show.
What?
I tell you what, if you haven't seen what I'm wearing right now, you got to get to our YouTube channel and get to our YouTube chat. Jon and Jim 760. Today's the day where I'm just like, F it. I mean, I'm solo. It's me and you, Brent. John's gone, even though he's in our chat. And, it is what it is. So, Aztecs basketball, they get going next week. I'm really excited for this season. And so we'll see what happens. I think the new players that we haven't seen much of is going to be exciting for Aztec fans to finally see that, because what we've had here is the same players for 2, 3, 4 years. You haven't seen much new make an impact right away. Well, that's going to change this year. It's all new right away compared to the last 4 years. And I think that's exciting. I think it's exciting in college basketball. I think it's exciting in college athletics. Yeah. Would you have loved Jaden Ledee to be here for the next 5 years? Yeah, of course. But this isn't the NBA. It's college. And everybody moves on. And the cycle just keeps turning and turning and turning. So there you go. Next Friday.
Yeah, no, I'm ready for the non-exhibition season to start.
I am too, and I'm glad it's only one exhibition and it's not 5 exhibition games. Like the NBA this year had 6 preseason games before their regular season started. I'm like, what are we doing here? 6 preseason games? Need that many games for Bronny to at least score a couple buckets?
Apparently he needed 7.
Apparently he needed 7. So there we go. Great show lineup for you today. John's going to join us from Boise. Cynthia Freeland will be joining us today at 5 p.m. to talk some NFL. Thursday Night Football tonight, Jets and Texans. Chris Hodge, our buddy, talking Vegas, will be joining us at 4:30. But coming up next, the Padres offseason has officially begun. What are the top priorities for the Padres this offseason, which will begin free agency in 5 days? We'll talk about that coming up next. All right, back here on Jon and Jim on Halloween. By the way, me and Brent were just talking about it. If you are out right now in the Mission Valley area or by San Diego State, be careful because there's a big brush fire over there. And I don't know how it looks right now, but it did not look good when I went to pick up lunch about like an hour ago. So be safe. All updates will be on our sister station, News Radio 600 Kogo. So just be safe out there because this brush fire, it did not look good. It did not look good. But if you want any updates on that, go to our news station, News Radio 600 Kogo. All right, so the offseason is here. The Padres offseason with free agency begins in 5 days. And this team right now has to keep their foot on the gas pedal. They can't let up. I know that there's a lot of question marks with this team. A lot. And by the question marks, I'm talking about one, I think a dirty look, like something that we haven't really discussed much, Brent, is what's going on with the ownership situation. You know, Eric Katsenda was put in place after the passing of Peter Seidler. And it was, described as like an intern type of role, like a place builder. But is he going to remain the owner of the team? Are they going to look for another owner to sell? Or like what is the situation there with Eric Katsenda and the Padres? I think that is a question that really hasn't been talked a lot about. And why would it? Because the season was going on and they were having a great season and then getting in the postseason. No one's going to sit there and be like, hey, what's going on with Eric Katsenda? Like, is he the long-term owner of the Padres? So that's kind of a question that I don't know if it's going to get answered this offseason, but it's out there. It's definitely out there as something that I think maybe should be talked about a little more. I don't know. That's just me.
I'm probably wrong, but did they say when they did the whole, not transfer of power, but you know what I mean, when they're assigning the new roles when Seidler passed away, that
Right.
wasn't this going to be like a 2-year process or something, that it was going to be, like you said, he was going to be temporary because it was going to take a while to get everything in order. So I don't know if anything was supposed to happen yet, but I don't know. I haven't. What do you know, Jim?
I don't know anything. I really don't. That's the whole point, is I don't know anything. I just think it's a question that, should be asked, right? Like it should be asked. But other than that, looking at the on-field situation with this team, you have issues you have a open left field. You have a catcher spot that you need to take care of, unless you want to have Luis Campusano be the catcher. You have bench pieces. You have first base. You have a need for at least 2 more starting pitchers. Back end of your bullpen, you're losing one of your best relievers. So like there's a good amount of question marks heading into this offseason for this Padres team. And I think they can't afford to just pick up off the scrap heap, make a couple signings that are not really significant, hope they turn into something. Like it almost feels like they gotta keep their foot on the gas pedal here. And if they lower payroll this offseason, it's going to be a problem.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. They can't really keep their foot on the pedal if they don't have gas money.
Exactly. So the ownership, I'm not going to say issue, but just the question of where does Eric Katsenda stand? Is he the long-term answer here, or is he is it holding the fort down until they figure out a long-term answer? Then 2, what's the spending, I guess, equation here? Like what are they going to spend? What do they have to spend? Are they going to spend? And then obviously, building the team and putting the team together that can back up what they did this past season, which was 93 wins, and getting into the postseason. it's about getting in now. Like, it just doesn't, like, just get in. Like, would I love this team to win 90 plus games every single year? Like, absolutely. But if they won 89 games last year and made the World Series, no one's going to care. You know, how do you make sure that you don't take a step back and you continue to take steps forward? That's going to be like a philosophical question this offseason for this Padres team.
Yeah, they're going to have to figure out, some of the higher contract, not obviously the Mannies and the Fernandos, but like, Crone Zone and some of those other guys that, they could move them and maybe use some of that money in other spots. And
potentially,
I'd kind of like to see him get a first baseman this year.
I would have loved to see them get a first baseman, but what they do is they get 50 shortstops and they move them around the diamond
who's
to
the
all
big
different
free agent
spots.
Shortstop this year?
Yeah, who can they get at shortstop that they can move to be a first baseman? So the offseason officially underway for the Padres. 5 days from now is when free agency starts. So that would be Brent Monday, right? Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So Monday is when free agency begins. There's already been moves in baseball today. Braves traded Jorge Soler to free up that money. They just continue to keep doing like voodoo trades and like under the most under radar trades that help them out every single year. The Braves do it once again, trading Jorge Soler and all of them money that he was owed. And so, yeah, moves have begun. Free agency starts on Monday. I would love in the next couple of days, the Padres announce a contract extension for Mike Schilt and Ruben Niebla. But until then, it's now go time. It's 5 days from now. Free agency begins. Profar's on the market. Higgy's on the market. Solano, Peralta. What are you going to do with Luis Ariz? Free agent pitching. Let's go. It's go time. And then, by the way, before we get to break here, I believe the GM meetings start next week as well. So, and they will be here in San Diego, like they always are. But the GM meetings, I want to say, start next week, right?
5th through the 7th.
Okay, so they start next week. And then we are in hot stove season, everybody. Hot stove season for the Padres. All right, coming up next, Juan Soto is going to be the big fish in the pond this baseball offseason. Interesting comments he had to say last night on his future in free agency. Yankees fans, you should be scared of what Juan Soto said. We'll hear from him coming up next. All right, this update is brought to you by Toyota of Poway in the heart of San Diego. San Diego State last night took on Cal State San Marcos in an exhibition game. They won that exhibition game 80-39. Next up for the Aztecs, their season opener next week on the 6th at home versus UC San Diego. And tonight, Thursday night football, as the Jets take on the Texans. At Toyota of Poway, you might save a lot if you just drive a little. Over 200 new and pre-owned Toyotas in stock will get you the Toyota of your dreams with special finance and lease rates. There's never been a better time to get a new or certified pre-owned Toyota. Visit ToyotaPoway.com today. All right, I had to take off my cardboard box. it was getting in the way. Back on Jon and Jim on a Thursday on Halloween. This is actually our last show of the week because tomorrow San Diego State takes on Boise State. Jon is in Boise right now. So game's at 5 p.m., which means pregame starts at 3 p.m., which means no Jon and Jim tomorrow. So this is the last Jon and Jim show of the week. Me and Jon will be back together on Monday. So yeah, tomorrow, 3 o'clock is when our pregame coverage starts for San Diego State. 5 p.m. is when kickoff is between San Diego State and Boise State. So Juan Soto is now a free agent. I guess in 5 days, he's a free agent. When he was asked last night about will the Yankees have maybe an upper hand here going into free agency, because this is going to be the talking point of the offseason, is what happens with Juan Soto? Where does Juan Soto go? Who does he sign with? How much money is he going to get? How long is this thing going to drag out? If I'm a Yankees fan, Brent, I don't know if I like this answer. This is what Juan Soto said last night about his impending free agency.
I feel like every team has the same opportunities when I'm going to the free agency. I don't want to say anybody has any advantage, because at the end of the day, we're gonna look what they have and how much they want it.
Okay. We're going to look at everybody. Everyone's going to have an equal opportunity and look how much they're going to give me and what I want. I don't know about you, Brent. That to me does not sound like, if I'm a Yankees fan, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, that's not the kind of thing that I want to hear going into free agency for a player that needs to stay.
No, but the Yankees are one of those teams that they got pretty much endless funds, though. So,
well, do they? Because I mean, yes, they spent a $300 or $400 million on Aaron Judge, or no, they spent less than that. They spent $350 on Judge, right? Because I know that San Diego offered him $400. He took less than that. I think he signed for like $350 or $360. But Soto's going to want close to almost double that. I mean, are the Yankees going to pony up and give a guy $600 million? Judge is like I said, Judge, he is probably, you could argue, their best offensive player just because the numbers he puts up. He's going to win the MVP this year as well. So he'll have 2 MVPs under his belt. He's the quote unquote captain of the Yankees. They gave him like $360. I think that's what the number was. Let's look it up. Aaron Judge contract. It is, where is it here? Aaron Judge 2 seasons ago. Yeah, it's a 9-year, $360 million contract.
Yeah, but my point is just that they're the Yankees, so they're going to be in contention.
They better be.
Even if he, does just literally just throw out a flyer to every team in the league and just, hey, I'll take an email from anybody to tell me, give me an offer. The Yankees will be, top 5, top 3.
But here's the thing about
finalists with
Here's the thing about Juan Soto. What he said there to me is like from the Boris Playbook 101.
Yeah, it's negotiation.
Negotiation, drive up the price, and whoever puts the best price out there, probably I'm going there. Now, you're not going to get like the Royals or the Marlins in on this at all. But this probably will come down between, the Yankees and the Mets, maybe the Giants, but definitely Yankees and Mets. Those are the top two places, in my opinion, for Juan Soto. Who's going to outbid who? And that's essentially what Juan Soto said there. He had a great season this year for the Yankees, hit 40-plus home runs, helped lead them to a World Series. He had his Yankees moment in the ALCS. But, just because all that happened and the relationship between him and Judge were good and the clubhouse was great, that means nothing if the Yankees don't pony up and put a 6 in front of whatever number they give him. That starts with 6 and then followed by a bunch of zeros.
What are the odds that no team gives them that?
I think higher than 50%.
We've kind of seen that trend going lately to where, like, the last few off seasons, lots of, look at Blake Snell, for example.
Yeah.
A lot of players thought that they were going to get these big contracts in the off season, that they were going to get this, and they didn't get anything, or if they did get signed, they got, not even close to what they originally thought that they were going to get going into the off season.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree with you. I don't know that it's a foregone conclusion.
Maybe they're just gonna be like, yeah, 600. No, we're not doing that.
Yeah, I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that he's going to get $600 million. But I think that if some team starts with $600 million, that's probably hard to turn down, and that's also probably hard to outbid. Like it feels like if the Mets, which are crazy, Cohen's crazy, he could absolutely do this in a second if he wanted to. And if he starts a number with $600 million. Man, the Yankees are going to be sweating bullets. I know that they're the New York Yankees, but I mean, they didn't give Judge a $500 million contract. Now, Judge is older than Soto, obviously, and age plays a huge factor in it. But have the Yankees handed out even a $400 million contract before? I don't think so.
No, because they haven't done that really in this era. And a lot of the players they get are from other teams.
Cole's in the 300s. Judge is in the 300s.
What's Stanton get?
Stanton's in, I think, the high 200s, maybe low 300s. They haven't handed out a $500 million contract before. Now, if you look at like inflation, like you could say, well, the A-Rod contract back then, nowadays would have been well over $500 million or whatever you want to say. But still, the point stands. The Yankees have never handed out a $500 million contract, and that kind of feels like the starting point for a Juan Soto. Yeah, Mets are crazy enough. Are the Yankees going to be crazy enough and match that? They got to match the Mets crazy here, or else they're going to look and see Juan Soto in a Mets uniform, and it will make this season this offseason even worse for Yankees fans. So what are you going to do? You heard it from Juan Soto there. It's a bidding war. It is going to become a bidding war for Juan Soto. And you better come to the table with your big boy pants on and ready to write a lot of zeros after your check. Because if you don't, that thing ain't getting cleared.
I'm waiting for one of those guys in the media to be like, "Oh, Juan Soto's linked to the Padres."
Not happening.
Dude, we have no money. We don't have money to pay the players we have. You think we're going to go out and spend that? Knock it off.
Which is why I think that the report that came out last week of how if Peter Seidler were still alive, Juan Soto would be here in a Padres uniform, which I think is completely bogus. If Juan Soto is saying that after their season's over with about his free agency with the Yankees, bro, there is no chance in hell you could have told me that Juan Soto was going to sign a contract before he went to free agency. None. Zero. Listen to him again. Listen to Juan Soto again. Do you think this sounds like a guy that would have signed a contract before the start of his free agency period?
I feel like every team has the same opportunities when I'm going to the free agency. I don't want to say anybody has any advantage, because at the end of the day, we're gonna look what they have and how much I want.
Yeah, we're gonna look at what they have and how much I want.
Because there's no difference between the Pirates and the Yankees.
Exactly.
They're all the same.
Every team is the same in baseball. So, yeah, I think, to not make this season feel even worse for Yankees fans, it is a no-brainer that if you don't sign Juan Soto, like, the adage like pitchforks are kind of come out. Dude, Yankees fans, pitchforks might come out if not only if you don't sign Juan Soto, but if he goes to the Mets. Disaster if you're a Yankees fan.
They'll probably move pieces around. They'll find some way to get it done.
Well, I don't even think that they need to move pieces around. They just got to be willing to write the check. Now, do I think Juan Soto is a player that will, and not only Boris, but the Yankees to try to cook the books and fix the system to defer some money and make it completely outrageous and ridiculous? I don't see that happening. I don't see Juan Soto deferring $650 of $700 million. I don't see that. I also don't see Major League Baseball allowing that to happen again. They only allowed it with one other player, and that whole thing was a kind of a joke in the first place.
Well, text line said ESPN reported earlier it's going to be 700 million to 800 million. Absolutely not 600
Who
million,
reported that at ESPN? Because I know what happened this morning. Carl Ravitch was on, and he said that the number will start with 700 million. So is that from Carl Ravitch, or is Jeff Passan reporting that? Does it say it all? Because I saw Carl Ravitch this morning say that on ESPN, that the number for Juan Soto will start at $700 million. So that's a Carl Ravitch thing. I think that's more of an opinion than a report. But
Scott Boras is also his agent too.
I think Scott Boras would love the number to start at 700 million. You kidding me? I don't think it's going that high, but I wouldn't rule out someone being crazy enough to go 600 million just to outbid them. And by, thinking about what team that's going to be, probably more than not the Yankees. So that, or not the Yankees, the Mets. Sorry. The Mets are the team that I would be scared as hell if I'm the Yankees, which that would be a disaster. So way too early power rankings are out, Brent. You want to talk about them?
No.
Okay. We'll talk about them coming up next and how stupid they are. Stay with us on Jon and Jim. Hey guys, it's Jim from Jon and Jim, and tonight is the final day of October, which means it's the final night that you can win big at Hamul Casino with 10 winners every hour at 7 p.m., 8 p.m., and 9 p.m. Your odds, they're better than ever. You can earn entries all month long, which is the final day of the month, and you get two-time entries on Tuesdays with at least $500 in cash for all winners and a chance to win up to $25,000 in cash. The food there is great. Tony Gwynn Sports Pub is a great place to go to grab a bite to eat, to watch a sporting event tonight. Thursday Night Football is on. Great atmosphere, great vibe, great food. Get to Hamul Casino today. It's fun above all else. So, of course, the first day of the off season, and what do we get? We get power rankings. I'm let's pretend that power rankings mean nothing because
mean
they
nothing.
do. They mean nothing. Yet ESPN right away power rankings for baseball, dude. The off season literally just started. Free agency hasn't begun yet. No trades. There's still like a million moves to be made. How can you honestly make a power ranking before the offseason for next year?
What's worse, the power ranking the day after the season ends, or next year's top 10 draft class the day after the draft?
That's a great question.
Where no one's even played. We have no idea who the Heisman winner is or even candidates.
Oh, I think it's, you make a good point. It is the top 10 players that in the draft, or the top 10 drafted players, or whatever it is. Because yeah, you're right. You don't know anything about those players for another 5-6 years. I mean, you can get a little idea of who's going to be good next year and whatnot before all the moves are made. But yeah, draft classes, dude, no idea. And I love Matt Friars, but even then, even those guys are like, no, we don't know. Like we like what these guys have, and here's a scouting report on them, but we have no idea if this guy's going to be good or not. So.
Yeah, I just remember football be like, oh, the draft just happened. And well, who's next year's number one pick? It's like, I don't know.
I have no idea. So you might be asking, well, all right, where do the Padres come in on these stupid, power rankings that shouldn't be taken seriously ever? And whoever takes them seriously, never listen to them ever, ever, ever on any sports related topic ever. Came in third, Brent. Okay. Here's what ESPN says about the Padres. Can the Padres remain as cohesive for an entire season as they were in the second half of 2024, when they went 43-20 and looked like a World Series favorite? They'll be without Joe Musgrove, who blew out his elbow in the playoffs. They'll also probably be out of Jerkson Profar and catcher Kyle Higashioka and reliever Tanner Scott and Ha-Seong Kim. Xander Bogaerts filled in nicely at short, but is best suited for second base these days. There are a host to fill, but general manager AJ Preller will be aggressive as always, and Jackson Merrill looks like the next big Padre star.
That sounds like Chat AI wrote that.
Probably. But there you go. Padres, they're third. They're ranked third in the power rankings for next season. Everything's fine. Everything's good. Third. There we go. I bet you that they did have Chat GPT or Chat AI or whatever make those power rankings. Who sits there and honestly types on a computer?
Well, they
power rankings for every
they're
team.
firing everybody at ESPN too. So
that is true. That is true.
Chat GPT's free,
and they have now. I think some Sports Illustrated articles are done by Chat GPT, and game recaps are done by Chat GPT. So why not have power rankings done by Chat GPT as well?
Might as well.
Makes sense. All right. So coming up later in the show, Chris Hodge will join us at 4:30, getting you ready for Thursday Night Football, Jets and Texans. Then Cynthia Freeland will join us at 5 p.m. John is in Boise. He'll join us at 5:30. Also, we have a ton of prizes to give away. I've completely just buried the prizes here. That's on me. That's my bad. I'll take that one. I'm not wearing my robot helmet, so I apologize. But we are giving away a couple really, really good prizes. One, we're giving away a pair of tickets to see San Diego State versus UCSD next week during their home opener. Also, a 4-pack of tickets to Snow Jam 2024 at the Del Mar Fairgrounds. And right now, if you want to win or get qualified to win some Cyndi Lauper tickets, hit us up on our Talkback feature. Just go to the app, iHeartRadio app. You'll see a little microphone on the iHeartRadio app when you click on San Diego Sports 760. Just click on that little microphone. Leave us a talkback. What is the biggest need for the Padres this offseason? Hit us up on the talkback feature. What is the biggest need for the Padres this offseason? Click the talkback feature. If you do that, you have an opportunity to win some Cyndi Lauper tickets. We'll give away a pair of tickets to see San Diego State take on UCSD in their home opener later in the show. And also stay tuned because we're giving away a pair of tickets to see Snow Jam at the Del Mar Fairgrounds. So stay tuned for all of that. I think that when you look at the Padres' biggest need this offseason, it starts and it ends with pitching. End of discussion. That's it for me. I know that they need to get a left fielder. Yes, they're going to have a left fielder. I know that they need to figure out what they're going to do behind the plate for catcher. Yes, they're going to have a catcher, preferably Hagee. But the biggest loss out of all of those pieces, if you're saying right now, what's the bigger loss? Give me one. Jurickson Profar, Joe Musgrove, or Kyle Higashioka.
It's Musgrove.
It's Musgrove. It's Musgrove. I love Jurickson Profar. I love Kyle Higashioka. And I thought without them this year, the Padres don't win 93 games and they don't get to the postseason. But we know that if you don't have pitching, you're kind of screwed. The Padres got kind of lucky this year when Joe went down for as long as he did. Guys like Matt Waldron stepped up. Guys like Randy Vasquez stepped up. You had frontline starting pitchers with Michael King and Dylan Cease step up. But if you don't have Joe, which you don't, how are you going to fill that hole? That's a big hole. Pause. You got to make sure you get at least one or two, preferably two. I'm not going to say frontline starting pitching because that's easier said than done, but you need to get some capable starting pitching next year that can fit in the middle of your rotation from day one. If you're telling me that you're going to rely on guys like Matt Waldron and Randy Vasquez, I'll tell you good luck. That's going to be the number one issue for the Padres this offseason is what did they do with starting pitching? And I haven't even mentioned it today. If Ruben Niebla's not here next year, I feel even worse about it.
It won't matter who the starting pitching is.
I mean, you could start for the Padres, Brent. We won't, but it's imperative and vital that one, they re-sign Ruben Niebla and do not let him leave or go anywhere else. Lock him up. And then you have to figure out how are you going to make sure that this rotation is filled with enough pitching to get you through next year. Because Michael King, coming off of his career year, also career high in innings. Dylan Cease, he had his moments this year for sure. The no-hitter, I thought he pitched well this year. But let's be real, he's got to be better. And then you're relying on a damn near 40-year-old Yu Darvish. How is he going to perform? And then guys like Matt Waldron and Randy Vasquez, who Matt Waldron didn't even finish the season with the Padres because he just couldn't throw his knuckleball over the plate. And when he did, it got rocked. So those questions for the pitching side is the number one thing for me. So for you, what is your biggest need this offseason and why? Hit us up on the Talkback feature. You could win a pair of Cyndi Lauper tickets if we play them on the radio and I decide which one's going to win. So hit us up on the Talkback feature. It's very easy to do. iHeartRadio app. You'll see the little icon there of the microphone. Click on the microphone and tell me what you think the Padres' biggest need in the off season is. All right, coming up next hour, Chris Hodge will join us, Taking Vegas. We'll talk about the Thursday night game and get us ready for a college football weekend. Cynthia Freeland at 5, John at 5:30. But coming up next, the Wrap. Stay here on Jon and Jim. All right, this update is brought to you by Toyota Poway in the heart of San Diego. We'll start with the Aztecs last night in their exhibition game. They won 80-39 over Cal State San Marcos. Next up for the Aztecs is their season opener next week on the 6th at home against UC San Diego. And tonight is Thursday Night Football as the Jets take on the Texans. 5:15 kickoff at Toyota of Poway. You might save a lot if you just drive a little. Over 200 new and pre-owned Toyotas in stock will get you the Toyota of your dreams with special finance and lease rates. There's never been a better time to get a new or certified pre-owned Toyota. Visit toyotaofpoway.com.
Getting you all set for that drive home. Let's just start the show. Here's Jon and Jim.
All right, hour 2 of Jon and Jim. Jon is in Boise today, so riding solo with Brent until 6 p.m. By the way, start at 6 p.m. is the Sean Lewis Coaches Show with John Rich and Coach Lewis getting you ready for their matchup against Boise State tomorrow and Ashton Jeanty, a Heisman hopeful. Do you think John asked a question that I gave him yesterday? And
No,
how do you
absolutely not.
How do you contain Ashton Jeanty?
Absolutely not.
Hey, Coach, real quick. This guy is probably going to rush for 2,500 yards and maybe 30 touchdowns. How do you contain him?
I know this is like should be one of those, like, you know how this underdog always has one of those things like, oh, Patrick Mahomes over half a yard passing. And it's just like, yeah, Janty's going to be like, oh, over, you know, 5 yards rush. Yeah, he's going to get that.
Exactly. So tonight, 6 p.m., Sean Lewis Coaches Show with Rich, John, and Coach Lewis. It is Halloween. If you missed it to start our show and you aren't watching our YouTube channel and you're wondering, Jim, did you dress up today? I did dress up. I dressed up as an umpire, but the kicker is I dressed up as a robot umpire. Because in baseball, how many times have we seen the outcry for robot umps? So I'll just put this on my head. All right, here we go. There we go. I have a robot head and I am an umpire. I am a robot ump. I never miss a call. My ump scorecards are always 100%. So that's what I'm for Halloween. Text line 70470. Start your message with team. What are you dressing up for Halloween this year? If you're even dressing up, you can hit me up. I'll look at the text line here. We'll get to those texts here soon. Brent, did you see this? I just came down. Did you see Bob Costas is retiring from play-by-play? Shocker.
He pretty much was retired anyways, with the occasional, you know, he was doing NBC stuff for a while for like the Olympics, but it's not like he's Joe Buck or something to where it's like, you know, every weekend Costas is doing something.
Well, this past postseason, when he called the Yankees Royal Series, that was awful by him. Like, just awful. And the majority of that series wasn't even like being talked about for the baseball side. It was being talked about because Bob Costas didn't have an exciting bone in his body, it seemed like. Every single play was like, Stanton with a high drive to left, and that one is gone. And the Yankees lead 2-1 in the top of the 9th inning. Like, what? Like, can you have a little more excitement?
That's always been Costas's thing, though, is he's always been, you know, he's never been one of those guys that, you know, when they hit home runs, he just goes ballistic. That's always kind of been his cadence and his thing.
True.
I remember he's buddies with Euchre, and when I used to run the board for the Brewers, he would just randomly show up at Miller Park and just sit up in the booth with Euchre. And he would not want to do anything. He wouldn't even want people to know he was there. And then all of a sudden Euchre would just go, so Bob Costas stopped by to talk to me today. And he would make Costas do play-by-play so he could like just leave. And he'd just sit there and do the game with Costas. Because they used to do the games on NBC back in the day when I was like 5.
Yeah, he did
the NBC
Jordan's
game of the week.
NBC game of the week. He did Jordan's finals in the 98, the shot. Look, I saw a take by, I think it was Nick Wright, saying that everybody hating on Bob Costas is an idiot because of how great he was in the past.
Yeah, I like Bob Costas.
I've never said Bob Costas was bad. I'm just saying right now, Bob Costas is bad. There's a difference because, if you're just going to grandfather someone in because they've had they were great 20 years ago. They're still, and if they're bad now, they're bad now. There shouldn't be like, well, you know what? He was great 20 years ago, so it's okay that he sucks now. No.
I think a lot of it is just people. It's like you said, people expect, more. They expect was it Gus Johnson that does, Fox that just goes crazy over every.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
People want that now. In a way, it's almost like it's the equivalent of the Stephen A's and the Skip Baylesses of play-by-play, to where they got to yell at everything, to where it's just everything is just the most exciting thing ever. And I think Costas he's in a similar situation that Al Michaels is in.
True.
Al Michaels is awesome. I grew up with him being I grew up in '80, but
amazing.
But he was like the Monday Night Football guy, and do you believe in miracles? And now it's just like, I'm getting a check to do this Jets Cardinals Thursday night game.
Yeah, not a
what
lot
do you
of
think, Kirk?
Exactly.
Wow.
No, and I am by no means disrespecting those two guys as far as like the history of what they've done, because what they've done in their careers is second to none. Those guys are unmatched. Bob Costas, Al Michaels, two of the top play-by-play voices of our generation.
Yeah, dude, you remember when Costas got pink eye during the Olympics and he still did the Olympics with pink eye?
Yes, I remember that. But the difference is, like, sometimes you got to know when to maybe walk away. And I think Bob kind of felt that maybe after his postseason calling the Yankees and Royals series. Maybe it was like, yeah, this is not for me anymore. And that's totally fine. That doesn't make your legacy any worse or doesn't affect your legacy at all. You are one of the GOATs, like you and Al Michaels, like you said, Brent. I mean, kind of unmatched careers when you look at what they have called in their careers. And yeah, sometimes it's a bummer that listening to them nowadays, you're like, that's Bob Costas? Like, that's Al Michaels? These guys don't sound good anymore. Well, sometimes that happens. There's only few announcers out there that can sound just amazing for their entire career. One of them is Vin Scully. I think another one is, to me, John Miller. And sometimes you lose it. It's fine. But that takes nothing away from their amazing careers that they've had, from calling Olympics to finals games to World Series to whatever, you name it.
I wonder too if some of these older broadcasters, just kind of similar to like what Nick Saban said when he left Alabama, to where they just don't like the state of where certain sports that they cover are going with, like just NIL and just other things, to where it's, they'd rather just, I'm good. I'm just going to retire now. I've had a long career. And like I said, I won't be surprised if at the end of this season, Al Michaels is just like, I think I'm done. Or, Amazon will nudge him and think, I think,
here's the thing about Al Michaels.
Retirement's looking pretty good, Al.
Here's the thing about Al Michaels. Someone drops a big fat check in front of him, I will do whatever you want.
Well, that's broadcasters. Costas, if they throw enough zeros on the end of the check, guess who's going to be back for the Summer Olympics in LA? Old retired Bob.
But who is throwing a big fat check in front of Bob to do anything right now?
NBC will.
Maybe. But NBC,
you have to remember, for the Olympics, they need so many broadcasters for that, and it's going to be spread all over.
That's also not like doing play-by-play though. That could be just doing like hosts of
I think it's gonna, I think it's gonna be similar about how, like, I'm convinced that Barkley's just gonna retire and he's not gonna go do the NBC stuff, but you and John are convinced that he's just gonna go on NBC.
Shot, Brent.
Yeah. See, I think it's the same way.
No shot that Charles Barkley doesn't get offered a fat check from ESPN or NBC.
See, I think it's the same thing with Costas. I think the Olympics will roll around, they'll need him, and then he'll be like, okay, technically I'm still retired, but I'm unretiring for America.
But that's also, he said he's retiring from play-by-play. So I don't know if he's
loophole.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to be doing play-by-play for Olympics. He hasn't done play-by-play for Olympics for how long? Like, I don't think he's done basketball in a long time.
No, because Marv Albert always did those games.
Yeah, and they didn't have, I forget who did the basketball this year, but it was D Wade and somebody else. I think it was I forget his name. But it wasn't Bob Costas. So yeah, there's a loophole in there from Bob. I'm retiring from play-by-play, which means I'll host your studio shows for Olympics and maybe like a baseball thing on MLB Network and maybe a basketball thing on NBC since it's moving to NBC starting next year. But the point is, he's a legend. He's a GOAT. He wasn't good at the end, but no one should remember that, and no one will remember that from Bob. What they'll remember is everything he did. I mean, the 90s was like flawless for Bob Costas. Flawless. And then the early 2000s, and then it kind of went to a different age. And same thing with Al Michaels. Al Michaels in the 80s, in the 90s, for me at least, like, because that's only time reference I have. Just the 2000s with John, it's like flawless. Those two guys are GOATs. Hasn't ended great for them in the play-by-play booth, but they'll be remembered as some of the best to ever do it. So congratulations, Bob. Congratulations. Coming up next, we have the wrap. Also, Chris Hodge will be joining us at 4:30. Cynthia Freeland at 5 o'clock. John Schaefer, the invisible man today, because he didn't show up for Halloween.
He's Vanisher.
Yeah. He's going to join me at 5:30. Also, we're giving away a pair of tickets to see San Diego State in their home opener next week. So stay listening for a chance to win that. Also, hit us up on the Talkback feature. What's the biggest offseason need priority for the Padres? If you hit us up on the Talkback feature, you have a chance to win some Cyndi Lauper tickets. But coming up next, the wrap. Stay with us. What's up, guys? It's Jim from Jon and Jim, and Jamul Casino is the place to be this year and any time of the year because of their great dining options. And you can watch a sporting event there anytime you want. Mondays in October and all October long, you got a day left here today, are great with winners every hour at 7 p.m., 8 p.m., and 9 p.m. You could win big time money at Jamul Casino. You can earn entries all month long by playing and getting 2-time entries on Tuesdays with at least $500 in cash for all winners and a chance to win up to $25,000 in cash for their Monday Night Live promotion. Tony Gwynn Sports Pub, it's a great place to go. We were there about a month ago. Got to get back there ASAP. The food is delicious. It's a great atmosphere to watch a sporting game, NFL, baseball, NBA, you name it. They have it on. Get to Jamul Casino. It's fun above all else. It's Halloween. Happy Halloween, everybody. However you celebrate it. You dress up, that's great. You don't dress up, that's fine. But Halloween, to me, is the time of year where it's like, I just dress up and be goofy and do whatever you want. And, it's fun. I consider it to be fun. I bought this Halloween costume like 2 days ago, Brent, for like $25. They actually have, it's not even a costume. Like, this is like a legit, I guess people buy this to be umpires. Like, it came with like a little brush thing here for the plate. It came with a ball, strike ball out and inning. Like,
you should just
gadget.
show up to Petco next year.
I was talking.
Get in.
I was talking. Yeah,
just go into the ump gate.
Right.
Just walk in.
I was talking to Brian Wilson, our sales director, and he's like, "Dude, you should just go to like some random Little League field one day and just show up and be like, hey, what field am I on? What field do I need to go to?" And just start calling balls and strikes somewhere. I mean, I got all the gear now. Got the shoes for it. Got the shirt.
You'd actually be way overdressed for Little League.
I'm way overdressed for Little League. Yeah, I'm way overdressed.
It almost looked like some sort of jackass skit. You'd be out there doing Little League
I'm like,
in the full uniform.
One.
Get like the big chest protector thing for
Yes.
8-year-olds that can't
Yes.
even throw 40 miles an hour.
Right. Yes. I was looking at that. I was looking for a chest protector, but I didn't want to drop $70 because they're expensive.
Well, duh.
I know they're expensive. And then I made this helmet. Whoops. I made this cardboard box here to be a robot ump. So if you're listening on the radio and you want to see my Halloween costume, you can just go to my Twitter or go to Instagram at Jon and Jim, or watch us on YouTube here, Jon and Jim 760. Subscribe to our channel, like our page, and we have all of our shows there, as long as with also the iHeartRadio app. Podcasts are there as well. All right, Brent, let's get to it.
It's time for The Wrap, presented by Sombrero Mexican Food. Check out their website at sombreromex.com.
Who wins tonight's epic Thursday night football game between the Jets and the Texans? Believe it or not, the Jets are favored.
I was
How? I have no idea. Yeah, no, I was too.
That.
Sammy's like, oh yeah, the Jets are favored. It's like, how?
Now, I don't know where this game is being played. I'm
I
assuming
think it's
New York.
in New York.
I'm assuming New York, because why would the Jets be favored on the road? It would make it even more hilarious.
Yeah, it's in New York.
Okay. Well, you could say it's a must-win game for the Jets, right? At 2-6, got to start winning some football games. Give me a break. Jets season is done. It's over. 2-6. Aaron Rodgers is not a good leader. He's not going to get these guys to rip off 7 in a row.
Right, that's what he does. This is when he's going to tell everyone to relax and he's going to spell for people. And
No, not happening.
All they got to do is just win every game from here on out. It'll be easy.
I might have thought differently if they had a way better coach, like if Belichick was their coach, maybe. But even then, I'm like, Aaron Rodgers is just a downer. He just brings everybody down around him.
I would think maybe different if they looked better in their losses. If there's no such thing as like a good 2-6, but if there's 6 losses, we've lost by 3 points in every game, but they look awful.
They're like awful. You just lost.
And we know because they keep putting them in primetime games. I'm with you, Marty. Take them off all the primetime games.
Take them off. It's ridiculous.
Flex them out.
Take them out. Yeah, I'm going with the Texans on this one. Like, give me a break. Really? Yeah, Texans. Texans big by 2 touchdowns. I was right the last time. Oh, wait, no, I wasn't. Last week, remember when I said, Vikings by 14.
Sam Darnold's the GOAT.
And then the Rams go out and win by 10. I'm an idiot. Next question, Brent.
Last night we witnessed NBA history. Bronny James scored his first 2 points, but will he ever score more than 2 points in a game this season for the Lakers?
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, he's going to score more than 2 points because he'll have times when he's out there when they're down by 20.
Might get an end one.
And he'll get a couple buckets here and there. Might get fouled or something. I don't know. But, yeah, I he's going to score more than 2 points in a game. I will say, all kidding aside, that was pretty cool last night for him.
I didn't even watch it.
I know you didn't. We were watching. You were watching Agatha all along.
It popped up because I follow House of Highlights on YouTube. So it popped up in my feed. I was just like, oh God. I was like, maybe I'll watch it without sound. And then I never went back to it.
It was cool just from this standpoint. He was born in Akron. He grew up at that arena with his dad. You know, if you're going to score your first NBA bucket, having it be in your hometown in an arena that you were there hundreds and maybe thousands of times and probably shot on those hoops hundreds of times with your dad, scoring your first NBA bucket, that's pretty cool there. Well, like in that
was it a jumper or what was it?
Yeah, it was a baseline jumper.
Oh, okay.
I think he
well, that's cool. That didn't be one thing. It was just like
a tip in,
or some little layup or something.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, big deal.
It was
some shot that we could have made.
Yeah, I mean, it looked clean. Like it was he drove baseline and had a nice step back, good form, hit the jumper, nothing but net.
Honestly,
his crowd went crazy.
It's probably good that he got it out of the way, because from the sounds of it, after this road trip, he's going down to the G League.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
he had this road trip to get his first NBA points. Otherwise, he's gonna go down for a while.
Yeah, you played with your dad. You scored your first NBA bucket. Like, you got that out of the way. I think now it's like, okay, I got to get better. So
I'm hoping it gets far less annoying now, because we're all the firsts are out of the way now.
Correct.
Yeah, we don't have to worry until the playoffs start.
Well, he's not gonna be on a playoff roster. He won't even see the playoff. He won't even see the clip.
I wouldn't say that. Remember who the player GM is.
That is true. Next question, Brett.
What's your favorite Halloween movie? Not specifically Michael Myers, just Halloween in general.
What's yours?
Probably Halloween.
Halloween, yeah, it's a really good one.
Like the original one, not the Rob Zombie one. I used to think the Rob Zombie ones were bad until the new ones came out, and now it's like I'm Old Man Yells at Cloud. Now it's like those are awful too.
Yeah, I do like the Scream movies. Call me lame, sorry. I like
Scream.
I like Friday the 13th.
See, for me, it's Halloween just because I watched Scream and Friday the 13th just on a normal Thursday. It doesn't have to be Halloween for that. But like Halloween, at least the original one, I usually only watch that on Halloween.
This is going to sound very lame. Like when I was a kid, I would love the Disney Channel. I love Hocus Pocus. Is that lame? It's not my favorite movie now.
A little bit.
But like when I was a kid, I liked Hocus Pocus. But that was Kid Jim. Probably favorite Halloween movie.
I liked Ernest Scared Stupid.
That's a good one. I like that. That's a good one. That's a good one. Next question, Brent.
What player is the biggest priority to bring back for the Padres?
The player that's the biggest priority to bring back for the Padres to me is Jurickson Profar. No question about it. Jurickson Profar to me is kind of feels like almost like the heart and soul of this team, and he's played his best baseball here. Now the money is going to be the problem, because you don't want to give him, you can't give him too much, because that would just look silly and stupid if you gave him a huge contract. But also, you can't give him too little and expect him to take like $1 million like he did this past year, because you put up an all-star season. So like if they can find a middle ground that works for both parties, that'd be great and ideal. But yeah, bringing Jurickson Profar back for more than he does on the field, I feel like is their top priority for players that are free agents, not for team priorities, but the free agent priorities on this team. I would say Jurickson Profar is number one. So Jurickson Profar, number one for me. All right, coming up next, Chris Hodge will be joining us to talk about Thursday Night Football and get you ready for college football this weekend. Cynthia Freeland at 5, John at 5:30. Stay with us as Jon and Jim. All right, this update is brought to you by Toyota of Poway in the heart of San Diego. San Diego State last night had an exhibition game against Cal State San Marcos. They won that game 82-39. Next up for the Aztecs, their season opener next week on the 6th at home against UC San Diego. And tonight is Thursday Night Football as the Jets take on the Texans. At Toyota of Poway, you might save a lot if you just drive a little. Over 200 new and pre-owned Toyotas in stock will get you the Toyota of your dreams with special finance and lease rates. There's never been a better time to get a new or certified pre-owned Toyota. Visit ToyotaPoway.com today. All right, back here on Jon and Jim on Halloween. Jon is out today. Actually, he is in today. He's just playing the Invisible Man on the radio. I am a robot umpire. I never miss a call. Brent is our fearless producer behind the glass there. And it's great to be joined by Chris Hodge, Vegas. Chris, thanks for joining us today. First question I have for you is, how nervous are you that Juan Soto might not be wearing pinstripes next season?
Well, they have probably the most money in the league outside of the Dodgers, who are going to buy them, and the Mets probably will try to buy them. I think that's a competition. I don't think they'll go to Chicago. It's not like the Yankees lose out on a superstar, especially to a rival, maybe Boston, maybe the Mets. I think Soto and his Tampa do exactly what they're supposed to do. You put it out there, you try to get as much money, and then you go back to the team that has the most amount of money and you say, this is what I got, pay me this. And I think that's how it's going to go down. But listen, Yankees lose him, good night. I have to go find a new team to root for because that's going to be ugly.
It would be definitely ugly. And the comments after the game were pretty interesting. It's like, oh, okay, highest bidder. Here we go. So, yeah, that's going to be definitely the story to watch all off season. All right, Chris, let's get into it tonight. Thursday Night Football, Houston and Jets. The free pick will be Houston and Jets for you tonight. How can people get that from you for tonight?
Same as always, we make it so easy. Just take out your phone, text the word WIN to the number 545454. You get tonight for free. And then we have a big free pick on Saturday. So how that works is you automatically get it. So you text the word WIN to the number 545454. You get Houston, New York tonight. Obviously, you hear the accent. I'm from New York. We know that team very well. We're very good on or against them, which mostly you go against them and you just make money. But the total could be a value play as well. So you text the word WIN to the number 545454. You get that pick, plus you'll automatically receive our big play on Saturday, no questions asked.
I mean, just saying on this game for 1 second here, the Jets 2-6. First off, can we stop having them on primetime games? Number one,
amazing, right?
It's amazing. And number two, have they turned into, your opinion, like the laughingstock of the league?
No, they haven't turned into it. They've been it.
Yeah, it's true. There you go. Yeah.
Right. When have the Jets not been a laughingstock?
That's right.
You're going on 54, 55 years without a Super Bowl. And by the way, not even sniffing a Super Bowl. Like, not even really coming close to it in almost all of those years. And then last week, just to put the icing on the cake, just to be what the Jets are, they do something that no team in the history of the world has ever done. They score over 20 points. They don't turn the ball over. They don't give up 250 yards. In the history of the NFL, no team has ever lost. Cue the New York Jets, and they come in and they break that. I think it was like 756-0 in that situation. And the Jets are the one because it can't go any other way. So that's what they are. That's what they've always been in their life. But it's very odd that they're favored tonight, right?
Yeah,
They just lost to New England.
It's
very odd that they're favored. So
it doesn't make sense. I was thinking to myself, like, when Brent told me that they were favored, I'm like, wait, what? And it's just weird. I don't know why. Maybe it's just the Aaron Rodgers effect, but even him on the team doesn't really do it for me. Chris, let's stay with the NFL. On Sunday, Lions-Packers. What do you got in that game?
So we're going to look at the over. I think there's going to be a lot of points scored. Now, before everyone goes crazy, because Jordan Love did hurt his groin last week and is a game-time decision. Obviously, yes, I know that the Packers offense is not as good with Jordan Love on the bench and Malik Willis in the game. I get that. But what LaFleur has done over at Green Bay is he's really shown that no matter what the personnel is, he will put a good game plan together to score points. And he's proven that. With whatever quarterback he's had, whatever personnel, this guy finds a way to score points. We know Detroit's offense is a great offense, probably the best in the league overall, right? Obviously, defensively, he struggled. Unfortunate injury there a few weeks ago to Hutchinson. That hurts them up front. And the total really isn't crazy. It's 48-49. I think, if you look at what the Packers did last week, yes, they win, but they allowed 27 points to Jacksonville. Jacksonville's terrible, okay? So if you can allow 27 to Jacksonville, you can allow more than that to Detroit, who just put up 52 on Tennessee, put up 31 on Minnesota the week before, and put up 47 on Dallas the week before that. So I think this is a game that is both teams are in the 30s. I think it's going to be a highly entertaining offensive game. And I think it's going to take a lot to keep this game under the total. So we'll go with the over in that one.
Ohio State, Penn State, kind of a big game this weekend, Chris. Kind of a big game. What do you have in that one?
So here's the thing with Penn State, right? Like, at what point do they win a big game? James Franklin is 1-9 against Ohio State. He does not win big games. He does not win top 5 matchups. He never has. And Ohio State, I understand they lost to Oregon a couple weeks ago, but if you look at their roster, talent to talent, they have a top 2 roster in the entire country. They're that good. You have the situation, I don't know if you guys know too much about this, but their quarterback, Will Howard, grew up in Pennsylvania, wanted to go to Penn State. They said no, didn't think he was good enough. He went to Kansas State. He was a 4-year player there, and now he's in his 5th year, grad year with Ohio State. This kid is an accomplished quarterback, very good quarterback. Now he's got a chip on his shoulder. And, look, Ohio State showed up last week against Nebraska, knew they had Penn State on deck. They went through the motions, and it almost cost them. They almost lost the game. But they learned their lesson. They're not going to show up and take Penn State lightly. 1, because they never do, and 2, because Penn State can never beat them. Ohio State is a more talented team. I think it's a close game early. That game being at 12 o'clock in the afternoon helps Ohio State more than it helps Penn State. So I think that Ohio State keeps it close early, and then the talent disparity, they just pull away late, and ultimately they win the game by 10 points. So lay the 3.5 with Ohio State. That should be a winner.
And once again, for our listeners, Chris, how can you get these free picks? Give out the number, and where can our listeners go?
Yeah, just text the word win to the number 545454. We try to make this as simple as possible. You could also visit takenvegas.com. There's 6 great handicappers there. They're doing a tremendous job. All of their picks are documented. Those handicappers do charge $29 a day. I'm telling you guys up front, but they are well worth it. And then for us, we've been doing Sports Investors Daily since 2006. This is year 19 for me. I actually, believe it or not, I just did my 1,000th show last Sunday. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yep. Thank you. So, everything's going well. And like I always say, look, we don't win every week. We don't win every game. That's just the way it goes. However, year in, year out, since 2006, we have provided and given a profit to our customers. So that's why I always say no one could argue the point with me. We've done it for 19 years, and hopefully we do it for another 19. Keep this thing going. We got some games going this weekend that we love, and we'll start you off. Just text the word win to the number 545454.
Love it. All right, Chris, have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you next week. All right, man?
All right. You too. Have a great day, guys.
All right. Thanks, Chris. Chris Hodge there, takingvegas.com. So, yeah, this weekend you got Penn State, Ohio State, pretty big matchup, I would say. Obviously, tomorrow here locally, San Diego State and Boise State. Boise State is a team that could be in the college football playoff. We'll get the first rankings next Tuesday. No, not next Tuesday. We already got them, right? I am so off. I don't know when we're going to get them, but we're going to get them soon. I think it's next Tuesday. There's a lot going on next Tuesday. But, yeah, tomorrow, San Diego State, Boise State, you get to see a Heisman candidate and a team that potentially could be in the college football playoff this year in Boise State. Now, I'm not just going to sit here and say, oh, yeah, just because those two things are happening, you're going to concede the game. Like, no, we got to go out there and hopefully the Aztecs can pull off an upset and kind of ruin Boise's season. Like, think about this, Brent. If San Diego goes out tomorrow and pulls off the huge upset, I don't know what the line is in this game, but if they can pull off that upset, that essentially ruins Boise's season of making a college football playoff. Unless something else crazy happens, because Washington State is there. They just beat San Diego State.
Boise by 23.5.
Okay, so that's a big number. that's a big number. But if in some like 1 in 100 types of thing that San Diego State pulls off this crazy upset, that ruins Boise's season.
My whole thing is, everyone will, Sean Lewis will admit that, the offense has been a little disappointing this season. And granted, we knew it wasn't going to be something that was going to happen overnight. But the one surprising thing has been the defense has been extremely solid. And every week the defense has shown up. I think they get gassed sometimes, though, because they're on the field a lot. So then by the time the fourth quarter rolls around, they don't got a lot left in the tank. But really the most consistent thing so far this season has been the defense. So I'm hoping if that, holds up, that just keep it, in the high teens, low 20s, and just give us a shot.
Easier said than done, Brent.
Well, yeah, obviously. That's why I'm here and not in the coach's room.
Exactly. Easier said than done. All right. Right now, 877-767-4760. Who did the Jets lose in a horrible fashion to last week? We just talked about it with Chris Hodge. Who did the Jets lose to last week? 877-767-4760. First caller to get that correct wins a pair of tickets to Snow Jam at the Del Mar Fairgrounds. Snow Jam! 877-767-4760. Who did the Jets lose to last week? First caller to get that right wins a pair of tickets to Snow Jam coming up next.
It's a 4-pack, actually.
It's a 4-pack. I'm sorry. I'm downplaying it. 4-pack of tickets to
Bring
Snow
double
Jam.
the friends.
Double the friends. So call right now, 877-767-4760. Cynthia Freeland joining us coming up at 5. Jon joining us at 5:30. Stay with us on Jon and Jim.
All right, Cynthia Freeland's going to join us in top of the hour here. John is in Boise already. He'll join us at the bottom of next hour. We'll get you ready for San Diego State and Boise State tomorrow night on the blue turf. Also, 6 p.m. tonight is the Sean Lewis Coaches Show with John and Rich and Coach Lewis talking about how they're going to stop Ashton Jeanty. What are the keys to stopping Ashton Jeanty, Brent? 6 p.m. Sean Lewis is going to give you all of that.
Maybe they won't even bring it up. They'll go the whole show without talking about Ashton Jeanty.
Wouldn't that be crazy to go an entire show without mentioning like the biggest like thing going on, which, you know, for San Diego State would be Ashton Jeanty. Like imagine having an entire show. Just think about this. An entire show without mentioning what everybody wants to talk about or what everybody's tuning in to hear about. That's kind of wild. I don't think they're going to make it an entire 60 minutes without talking about Ashton Jeanty, though.
I don't either. I don't think they'll make it 5 minutes.
No, but that would be kind of funny to go an entire show without talking about the one thing people want you to talk about.
That would probably piss Ashton Jeanty fans off.
It would definitely piss Ashton Jeanty fans off. Abso-freaking-lutely. So you heard Kevin Acey there in Marty's report talking about Jurickson Profar and the contract that he could get here with San Diego. Now, I haven't seen any rumors about what other places might call about Jurickson Profar, but it kind of feels like with Profar that if any other team were to call about him, they probably already know, we're not going to get the same production. Like, we're not going to get the same production that he had in San Diego. And so that just leads all windy roads lead back to Jurickson Profar. The best place for him is here in San Diego. How are they going to line up a contract that makes sense for both sides? That's going to be a tough part. Starting on Monday, we can officially start talking about, and they can start talking to, Profar about probably locking something up. Hopefully. They could do it now if they wanted to, but come Monday, you can talk to every single team in baseball. And I don't suspect him to be like a guy that's off the market like quickly.
No, but he's going to be one of those guys that he's going to be a very enticing, affordable option for a lot of teams, I think. There's he's not going to be, have Juan Soto hype to him, but I think other clubs that maybe just might be a, 2 or 3 pieces here and there shy of, having a, championship ball club, they might go, look, I'm willing to, throw down 13 to 16 million maybe a season for him.
That's a lot.
Well, how much is he supposed to get? I always go high because
I have no idea.
Okay, because I always go high. So then, when it's lower, it's like, all right, they got a deal. But you know what I mean, though, compared to he's not going to be like Pete Alonso. He's not going to
Pete Alonso could get probably north of $200 million.
Yeah, so he's not going to get money like that. So he's unlike how Soto tried to make it sound like, oh yeah, all 32 teams, you're in on it. Hey, Cincinnati, you're just as in as the Yankees are. No. But guess what? Cincinnati, you are just as in on Jurickson Profar as the Yankees could be, because pretty much any team that wants him could afford him.
And with how important he is to the clubhouse, I think he has found a home here where I don't know if he's going to perform like he did this season anywhere else. Hell, I don't even know if he's going to perform like he did this past season if he even stayed here next year. Like, I just feel like a dip is coming. But he's also in the last couple seasons, 2022, the end of 2023, and then 2024, all really good stints here with the Padres. He had a really good 2022. He was only here for like 2 weeks in 2023, but the team did go like 13-1 with him here. Not saying that's a lot, but still. And then this season is the All-Star year. So he's found a home. He plays his best baseball here, it seems like. Like, why would he want to go anywhere else? I know he probably wants to return.
The same reason everyone else does.
Yeah.
Money.
I know he wants to return, but it's like, how are you going to make it work? How's AJ Preller going to make it work? And how can they keep their foot on the gas pedal here this offseason and make sure that they don't, take 2 steps backwards? Like, I think a lot of fans would be really upset if, one, they don't bring back probably Profar and make upgrades in those areas that are like, oh, that's way better than Profar. And two, the pitching staff and Ruben Niebla and the payroll. You chop that payroll a little bit, people are not going to be happy. You have put yourself in a position, San Diego, where you're kind of forced. The hand is forced for you. It's given to you, which is, sorry, you can't go backwards now. You only have to go forward. Because if you go backwards, people are going to be pissed. And that can't happen.
Yeah, but so it happens when you overextend with your money. Sometimes you spend too much, then you're gonna have to eat ramen noodles for a couple months. Then you're just gonna have to.
But that's the thing is,
it's not gonna taste good, and you're not gonna like it. But
they don't have to eat ramen noodles. They can still eat really nice steaks at steak restaurants. It's their choice if they want to do that or not. And I'm a little afraid that they're gonna choose the meal that's $10 cheaper than the steak that's $45. It's like, oh, I'll just get the chicken for $28 instead of the really nice steak that's $45.
Yeah, but I think teams like Tampa Bay, they've shown that you can win on a ramen noodle budget. It's rare, and it's not it's not the commonplace, but you can do it.
But look at the climate that this sport is in right now, and look at the division that the Padres are in. Do you think, honestly, they can sell their fan base? We're going to be really good. And then the fan base saying, you just chopped off $15 to $20 million more of payroll. That's a hard sell. And especially what happened this year, I don't know if they can afford to do that. It's either you stay where you're at and you have to improve there, or you make some improvements. You add to the payroll. Now, I'm not saying you have to add $100 million, but if the payroll is like, say, next year, $176 million, that to me would be okay. But if it's $150 million next year, then we got some problems. You dip past the 170 mark, you got some problems, and fans are not going to like it. All right, coming up next, Cynthia Freeland, our NFL insider, will be joining us next. Also, John's going to join us at 5:30. Stay with us on Jon and Jim. All right, this update is brought to you by Toyota Poway in the heart of San Diego. We'll start with the Aztecs last night. Their exhibition against Cal State San Marcos went really well. They won 80-39. That's good. Next up, they'll take on UC San Diego for their home opener and start of their regular season next week on the 6th. And tonight is Thursday Night Football. We're moments away from kickoff between the Jets and the Texans. At Toyota Poway, you might save a lot if you just drive a little. Over 200 new and pre-owned Toyotas in stock will get you the Toyota of your dreams with special finance and lease rates. There's never been a better time to get a new or certified pre-owned Toyota. Visit toyotapoway.com today.
Getting you all set for that drive home. Let's just start the show. Here's Jon and Jim.
All right, hour 3 of Jon and Jim. John's going to be joining me from Boise at the bottom of the hour. 6 o'clock will be the Sean Lewis Coaching Show with Rich, John, and Coach Lewis. But right now, Cynthia Freeland is joining us right here. Brought to you by Hamul Casino. It's fun above all else. Cynthia, wild past weekend in the NFL. Probably one of the wildest of the year. I want to start, and people were like, why are you starting with the Browns? Because Jameis Winston is freaking awesome. And it feels like this was maybe a revelation or like the light bulb probably went off for the Browns. Like, oh crap, if we just started Jameis to start the season, we probably might have been better off. Do you feel that same way?
The thing about Jameis is that he can throw a bunch of touchdowns, but he can also throw a bunch of interceptions. So, it's more volatile. It's more fun. It certainly is something where I don't think we would have seen them struggle so much. I mean, they were dead last in third down conversion rate until last week. So I definitely think Jameis would have been a massive upgrade if you're talking about full season, especially because they got to play a fourth place schedule, which would have been great, or a third place schedule, excuse me. So, that would have been great, but that decisions are decisions, man. You can't take it back.
No, you can't. I think Jameis Winston to me is like must-watch television just because he at any moment can throw an amazing touchdown pass or the most horrific interception you've ever seen in your entire life.
Exactly.
And then to top it off, tell me if you agree, like his post-game interviews are elite, right?
I was texting Amanda Balionis and I was like, how on earth did you not I wouldn't have been able to do it. I wouldn't have been able to do it. Like, she is like a real pro. Like, I would have died. I would have been like, I'm sorry, what are we talking about Eminem for? Like, that white boy in Michigan.
It's like, what?
About?
It's so good. I love Jameis Winston. I love everything about him. He is, it just feels like a breath of fresh air for all Cleveland Browns fans. All right, enough about the Browns because it's the Browns. The Lions, your Lions, Cynthia. Now, the loss of Aiden Hutchinson, defensively, long term, yeah, that's gonna hurt going into the postseason to not have that elite edge rusher. But this offense is clicking at a level that, I mean, it feels like they are one of those teams that at the end of the year they're going to get over that hump because they're on a mission. Do you feel that same way? I know you're the Lions fan. I get it. I know.
There's a couple of things that I'm a little concerned about that may rear their ugly heads in this one. And that is, number one, when you lose Aiden Hutchinson and then you have the benefit of, look, the Minnesota Vikings, that was a tough win, but the Tennessee game, you didn't really get punished for that Aiden Hutchinson loss yet. And the trade deadline's coming up. We saw them have this massive uptick in using the blitz to try to manufacture pressure. So I just don't know what they're going to do, because that is a really big loss. Like, the pass rush is a really big deal, especially when you have a really, the secondary is pretty young. Terrion Arnold, it can get all those DPIs. So that's just an area where I'm like the offense is humming and really fun to watch. And that 12 personnel is really working out well for them. I mean, it's not great for Sam Laporta fantasy owners, but It's great for the run game, for the pass game, etc.
Tonight's game, Cynthia, Jets coming off of a horrific loss to the Patriots, but tonight, I mean, they're favored in this game over the Texans, which is kind of weird to me. It feels like a must win, but even if they do win, it doesn't feel like the Jets really will even be going anywhere, right?
I mean, I know Aaron Rodgers would never admit that the season's kind of over, but it's just really weird. Like the AFC in general is just such an odd place this year. There's like really good teams, no middle class, and then teams that are not really good.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I'm like, the Jets to me fall into that second category, not really good. So I'm looking at this game, and while I actually think that this is one where the Jets come out, it's Thursday night. The Devontae Adams effect hasn't taken place. Hassan Reddick, basically, I know people are like, well, he's playing 2 games in a short period of time. Like, I don't know. He didn't really play the last one very much, and he's had a bunch of time to be resting, and rushing the passer is not something that's as nuanced as other positions. So I don't know. This is one where I think the loss of Stephon Diggs, plus they already had Nico Collins on IR. It just, for whatever reason, feels like that stupid game where a team that is better team just drops one to the Jets, and you're like, what is going on here?
Right.
So that's I feel that in the air. I'm not, again, that is not super scientific, but it does, it does work out that with losing Stephon Diggs, the interior of that Texans O-line has given up 15.5 sacks, which is the most in the NFL. So that's where I think that this game is lost for the Texans.
Cynthia Freeland joining us right now on Jon and Jim, brought to you by Humul Casino. We haven't even, I should have led with it probably, but the Hail Mary by Jaden Daniels, like that moment kind of feels like a moment for Commanders fans where it's like, oh my God, we can start believing now. Like they were playing really good football to start the season, but it didn't feel like, in my opinion, they had that moment of like, oh my gosh, we believe. That's what it felt like after this game. Like, oh my God, we just won a game that we should not have won on a miracle Hail Mary. And, while the Eagles are playing well in the division as well, the Commanders feel like a team that's the most surprising team of the league this year.
Yeah, I mean, when Jaden Daniels got drafted 2nd overall, everyone was like, yeah, like that's a good pick, but like there's nothing else around him, right? Like that was kind of the consensus, was just like, that's a good start, but like they got a long way to go. And what we've seen is the Dan Quinn defense, which he said he simplified, and bringing in veterans like Bobby Wagner to execute it. They're doing a good job of tackling people, and it took a few weeks for the defense to help them out. But now Jaden Daniels is, I hate to say it sounds not that sexy to be like, he's not going to have to do as much, but now he's not going to have to do as much. So the Hail Mary is fun and exciting and interesting, but now we're going to get to see what this team can actually do and how exciting it can be, because he's reached like quarterbacking 200 level, right? Like It started off great. Now let's see what happens when defenses adjust specifically for his skill set. So then we can see how he responds then. And I think it's going to be all goodness, but it just makes it a little harder. And that's why you need the defense to play complementary football to help you out a little bit more. Yeah.
And Dan Quinn, I think, is the perfect coach for that, for a young team, to put them in the right positions. And then with Jaden Daniels playing the way he has, it's like, my gosh, are the Commanders going to like make the postseason this year? It's a really good story. I like it a lot. And I'm sure everyone likes it a lot as well, especially fantasy owners of Jaden Daniels, taking them in like later rounds. Like, oh, that was nice. Cynthia Freeland joined us here on Jon and Jim, brought to you by Humul Casino. The Chiefs are the only undefeated team remaining in the NFL, Cynthia, but do you feel like there's some kind of like, it's like fool's gold a little bit, or do you really think they're that good?
I mean, I think that they're that good, but I don't know if they're, being undefeated it's very cool, but on some level it can also be like, we saw what happens when the Patriots did it, right? Like it becomes this thing that takes on its own life. So, I don't think they'll remain undefeated for the rest of the season. They certainly could, but like, I think that part of what is really interesting about them is, adding Josh Uche this past week is kind of like, how did any other team let that happen, let alone a team in the AFC? Like these are kind of interesting points where, like, if they just added another corner to that defense, I'd be like, what are the rest of you guys all doing? Like, what are other 31 teams doing? Yeah. Right. So, that's where I think that they're getting better and better. They're just kind of making the moves that they need to. Plus, this season they do have, for a first place schedule, for a Super Bowl winning team, a Super Bowl defending team, 2-time Super Bowl defending team, this is one of the easier schedules. It is the way that the schedule works. The NFC South is one of their unique kind of conferences that they have to play this year. But, they only get them every 4 years. This happens to be a down year for that conference. That's not their fault. But on some level, it's like, well, that's a pretty lucky draw for them.
What have you seen with Anthony Richardson that makes him a guy that you might be worried about for his long-term future in the NFL as a starting quarterback?
I mean, he didn't have a lot of experience coming out of college, so it's, he doesn't have this like breadth of experience looking at a lot of different types of defenses. And the NFL defenses come at you fast. They do a lot of different things, disguising coverages, really just, making your bad habits, if you don't get rid of them, especially if your bad habit is, taking some shots downfield that are ill-advised or, not quite seeing what you're supposed to be seeing. And honestly, it's hard to get that experience when you don't have it coming out of college. I mean, there's a reason why some of those people are like, hey, the lack of taking snaps in college. Like Mitch Trubisky had the same thing, right? Like when you only play a very, very limited next speed and next level.
Yeah, it's just like he either throws a 65-yard touchdown pass or he goes 7 straight plays without throwing a completion. It's just it's incredible. And that Joe Flacco somehow now is still starting in the NFL is an amazing story in itself. Cynthia Freeland joining us here for a couple more minutes on Jon and Jim. 49ers picked up a huge win over the Cowboys. Wasn't pretty. They almost blew another game up by 17 in the fourth quarter there, but going into their bye week, next week they're expected to get Christian McCaffrey back. Maybe they're going to get Juwan Jennings back as well. Debo's dealing with a little bit of an injury, but does it feel like to you that the Niners kind of weathered a storm here and that they could make a run, or does it just still feel like something's off here? I don't know what it really is, but it just feels off with this team this year.
The offense is operating differently, but I think I would say the former is true about the offense. They weathered a storm. That was just a lot of different injuries kind of coming from every direction. And I think the offense is fine. Although I do have some serious concerns about the defense, especially defending the deep pass. And those game-breaking plays, those big plays, the 20-plus air yard throws, those just, really getting big chunk yardage in one fell swoop. That's where I don't know how they're going to fix it. Because the personnel on offense is absolutely there. With Christian McCaffrey comes back, we know it's great. And, Jordan Mason has been an awesome running back. So there's a lot of great things that are on that offense still. However, quietly, people like CeeDee Lamb have like 146 yards. Like, if they could have stopped that, they would have. They weren't giving him those yards.
Right. Yeah.
It wasn't like garbage time where, like the Lions gave up a lot of yards to Calvin Ridley last week, but they were up by 30 points. Mm-hmm. It's a different strategy, right? Like this was not that strategy for the Niners.
Yeah, guys were like literally falling down. It was like, this is not good. So I agree with you. I think the Niners pass defense has been an issue for them for a long time. Like it's been one of those things where they just are very susceptible of the deep throw, and they just don't have these great cover guys like other teams have, and they kind of get burned on that a lot in big game situations. Hopefully that, for me at least, that doesn't happen too much the rest of the season. I see right now on your Twitter page that Gordy looks like a lion, dressed up as a lion for Halloween, and I'm zooming in on his face, and it's like, Mom, please, why are you making me dress up like this?
Miserable.
Miserable.
Lasts like 3 seconds, and just in time for the picture, and then that's it. I mean, just hates it.
Hates it, but it's very cute. I love it. He's dressed up as a lion for Halloween. So if you want to check out Cynthia Freeland's dog Gordy dressed up on Halloween, go to her Twitter page at @CFreeland. Very, very cute. Gordy dressed up as a lion. So Cynthia, thanks for joining us. Have a happy Halloween with Gordy, and we'll talk to you next week. All right.
I was looking for a squirrel costume, but they didn't make him.
Oh, that would have been perfect if you found a squirrel. Oh my gosh.
I know it would have been so good, but unfortunately, I didn't have it.
Unfortunately, maybe next year. There's always times for that. So, Cynthia, thanks a lot for joining us. We'll talk to you next week.
Have a great weekend.
All right, you too. Cynthia Freeland there, joining us. Brought to you by Jamul Casino. 7 restaurants, thrilling games, and a sports pub voted San Diego's best. Jamul Casino. It's fun above all else. All right, coming up next, John's going to join me from Boise. Got my back page still as well. And Sean Lewis Coaches Show starts at 6 p.m. All of that right here. Stay with us on Jon and Jim.
All right, what if you could be debt-free by this January, Jim? Get rid of all that
great,
high-interest debt, pay off all your credit cards, consolidate everything into one lower payment. Hey, guys, it's Schaefer. If you're ready to stop stressing over bills, you need to call Loan Pronto right now. With rates at their lowest in 2 years, this is the perfect chance to use your home's equity and save big going into the new year. Loan Pronto has rates right now with APRs in the low fives, and they're getting homeowners hundreds of thousands out of their home's equity. Homeowners who do this save on average $850 a month. Huge money. Loan Pronto offers a ton of options, including total refis or their express equity lines of credit. So call now. Get a rate quote in just minutes with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. Call today and you won't make a house payment until 2025. LoanPronto.com or 619-207-4336. LoanPronto.com. Free rate quote right now. 619-207-4336. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, on approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
All right, back on Jon and Jim, Sean Lewis Coach Show at 6 p.m. tonight with John, Rich, Coach Lewis.
The guys dressed up today, Brent. They dressed up as serial killers.
I saw Travis, but I didn't see anyone else.
Yeah, so they very, very creative. A lot of very creative costumes today at the iHeartRadio San Diego Halloween.
See, I could come up with creative ideas. I just don't have the follow through to actually, or the
like
skill
execute them
to actually do them. It's the same thing every year. Like Comic-Con rolls around, I'll have like a whole, all these ideas in my head for like cosplay ideas, but I don't have the skill or the,
they're hard to execute.
Actually, do it.
Like this stupid costume that I have, robot umpire.
Yeah, see, just making that like is way too much effort for me.
Like
cutting a hole in a cardboard box.
I mean, I'm kind of embarrassed about how long this took me last night. I know I said 30 minutes, but that was a bold-faced lie. Going out and buying the stuff that I need that I'll never use again, like silver spray paint, and this umpire jersey and shoes, even though Halloween hack, Brent, if you buy your Halloween costume off of like Amazon, which I did, free returns, boom, gone, done.
Oh, just say it didn't fit or something.
Oh yeah, easy. When I went to Italy, all of my Italy clothes that I bought that I knew I was never going to wear again, I all returned it when I got back. So I spent like $300 on Italy clothes, and then I got back and I just returned them all.
I'm laughing because every time you move your head, the box makes a noise.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes.
Is it on the radio like that? Does it sound really bad?
No. It's
okay.
It's just funny.
Well, if you're wondering like what the hell is Jim wearing, I am a robot umpire today, and I never miss a call. And if you want to see me, I put it on social media. Also, Jon Jim on YouTube. Watch us there. Subscribe to our channel. Like our channel. Like our shows. Watch all of our shows. And if you can't do that there, then listen on the iHeartRadio app. Best place to listen. Listen from anywhere, anytime. Podcasts are there as well. Search Jon Jim. We have a new podcast set up, new podcast page. So search that out. Subscribe to that, and you're ready to go. There's a million ways to consume our content. And if you just have one of them, that's great. But we want you to have every single way to consume us. We want you to consume us 24/7, 365. All the day, every day. All right, John's going to join us here in a couple minutes. Halloween, falling on a Thursday, Brent, it does like all the Halloween parties were on Saturday last week, and it just kind of feels like out of place. I don't know. Nothing's like, I don't know of anything really going on tonight. Like, who has a Halloween party on a Thursday night? Not me.
I don't know.
Now, I know you live in an apartment, but
yeah. No, I don't have to deal with anybody.
You don't get any like trick-or-treaters?
We got a gate, baby. They ain't getting in.
Yeah. See, we live in an alley, so we don't. I haven't gotten trick-or-treaters.
Yeah, like
in
this is like
time.
My dad's least favorite.
Oh yeah.
He's one of those people where as soon as trick-or-treating starts, they shut all the lights off in the house, and they he'll sit in the basement and watch TV in the dark.
Those damn kids dressed up as the devil.
He just doesn't want to deal with giving them candy, because then they don't so much mind like the respectful kids that come up and get candy, but you'll get some kids that oh, that's all we get. They have all these added. He doesn't want to deal with that, so his tradition just started being, I'm just going to shut all the lights off, and then I sit in the basement and watch TV in silence, and I won't answer the door for anybody.
Like when I trick-or-treated, and by the way, like if you're one of those parents that goes trick-or-treating with your kid and pulls the I don't know, getting mad at somebody for not giving them candy, like, come on, man. It's like, it's fine. The kids are going to be okay. They're happy with
we
just
used
like
to have to go trick-or-treating with our parents because we lived on a farm.
No,
they would have to drive us to places.
No, I'm not.
Trick-or-treating.
I'm saying that's totally fine. I would go trick-or-treat with my kids until they're, old enough to go by themselves. But some parents, it's like, give my kid a lot of candy. Like, chill out, bro. It's okay. But when I used to trick-or-treat, I'm sure you felt the same way, Brent. The houses that gave you like the big pieces of candy, like the actual regular size candy bars, those were the real MVP houses.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I would never be a cheapskate when it came to candy. Like some people are. Some people like, here's a box of Nerds. Here's a box of Smarties. hated the Smarties, by the way. The Smarties were like the easiest, laziest, worst candy.
Smarties were good when you were in school because they'd kill time because you could
Just
flick them
flick
at people.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I would never like actually be excited to eat them. And whoever gave out Smarties for Halloween, I'd be like, what are you doing? Why can't I get like a, Twix bar or
It could be
something?
worse. You ever have those people that like give pencils and stuff like that out?
Dude,
Those are like the worst.
What is the worst candy to get if you're a kid on Halloween? To me, no question about it. Smarties to me, or whatever. For me personally, Almond Joys.
No, I like Almond Joys.
No. If I got an Almond Joy, instant throwaway.
No. Rich was talking about, I didn't hear which one of his boys, but one of Rich's kids like loves Almond Joys. I'm with Rich's kid. I like coconut and almond. So
what candy, if you got, would you be like, what the hell?
I don't like those. I'm just going to call them mystery candies because no one really knows what they are. They're the ones that come in like that non-labeled. Remember, they're either in like orange or black labels. They don't really have a name. You just get them. They look like they're like taffy or something, but they just come. They're either like black or like a brown like wrapping, but they don't have. It doesn't say like Brock's on it or Tootsie Roll or anything like that. Probably those.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but I'll believe you.
I'll try and find
I literally have no idea what you're talking about. Best to me, like by far, Reese's Cup, Twix. You give me a full candy bar, I love you. That was my go-tos when I was a kid. I also low-key loved the Starbursts. Like, I just personally like Starburst a lot. And if I got Starburst as a kid, oh my God, that's the greatest thing ever. But the best part is after the night's over, you get all the candy and you lay it out on the floor and you see all the candy you got. And that's the best. What are you laughing about there?
There's those that the picture's not very big, but
what does that say? I don't even know.
Oh no!
Those look weird.
Yeah, they're just weird. I was laughing at the description because a person just put these rock hard candies taste like a mixture of molasses and child abuse.
Oh my gosh!
Their manufacturer is so ashamed of them that nobody even is sure what they're called. And the rumor has it it's bad.
Oh my gosh. Well, everyone stay safe out there. I know there's been a brush fire over by San Diego State. Stay safe.
Yeah, traffic is crazy.
Any updates, go to our sister station, News Radio 600 Kogo. But all kids out there, have fun trick-or-treating. Parents, don't be a downer. And eat all of your candy in one sitting. That's my advice. All right, coming up next, John's going to join me. Stay with us. What's up, everybody? Jon and Jim here on a Thursday. And I just want to talk to you about Jamul Casino real quick about their Monday Night Live promotion. Every Monday night, you can get 10 winners every hour at 7 p.m., 8 p.m., and 9 p.m. Your odds are better than ever to win. You can earn entries all month long by playing and getting two-time entries on Tuesdays with at least $500 in cash for all winners and a chance to win up to $25,000 in cash. They have great food selections there. Emerald is their new Chinese restaurant. It's a great place to go. Also, 21 Sports Pub, that's the place to be to watch a sporting event, have some great food, have a great time. Get to Jamul Casino. It's the spot to be for the holidays and for any activity that you want to do. Get to Jamul Casino today. Jamul Casino, it's fun above all else. All right, this update is brought to you by Toyota Poway in the heart of San Diego. San Diego State had an exhibition game last night against. Hold on, let me pull this up real quick. Sorry, everybody. I'm an idiot. Cal State San Marcos, they won 82-39. Next up, they take on UC San Diego in their home opener next week on the 6th. And tonight is Thursday Night Football. Jets take on the Texans. They are underway in New York right now. With the Jets and Texas, it's scoreless, about 10-15 left in the first quarter there. At Toyota Poway, you might save a lot if you just drive a little. Over 200 new and pre-owned Toyotas in stock will get you the Toyota of your dreams with special finance and lease rates. There's never been a better time to get a new or certified pre-owned Toyota. Visit ToyotaPoway.com today.
All right, back here on Jon and Jim. Final day of the week for us because tomorrow we have the Aztecs taking on Boise State, 5 p.m. kickoff, 3 p.m. pregame. So no Jon and Jim tomorrow. We'll be back on Monday. Jon will be back on Monday as well. But right now, Jon is in Boise, Idaho, getting ready for San Diego State tomorrow. How is Boise, Jon? I'm sure it's a really fun time, right?
No bury the lead. What do you think of Jim's costume?
Jim, you did a nice job. You're right. That is, I think you did a spectacular job with the costume, and the fact that you were wearing a real hot helmet portion of it on the rodeo, so probably above. You went above the odds. So kudos to you. I'm still wearing it, by the way. I haven't worn it for the whole show, but I decided to wear
Most of it.
I decided to wear it during our segment because I wanted to see if you're going to watch on YouTube during the segment and see how much of an idiot I look like. I looked earlier, and you looked like an idiot. Yes.
I'm not looking right now. Yes. No,
Yeah.
you look like an idiot. I'll say this about Boise. It's a neat little town. I've never been here. It's quaint. It's very college town-esque, but bigger because it's like the state capital. I don't know how to describe it. It's just kind of like a quintessential American town, a lot of bars and restaurants and very walkable. We're downtown, which I think is just a few minutes from their campus. So we're not on their campus, but the city of Boise is, kind of like a mid-sized American city. And obviously Boise State's topic number one here.
Yeah.
But it's cooler. I mean, it's about 50 degrees, maybe 55. It's not cold. It's just cooler and overcast. But got in a couple hours ago, but everything's, relatively good.
So I guess my next question is, Rich was here today for our iHeart Halloween party. Where were you, dude?
I'm in Boise.
No, I know, but is Rich?
How did he do that?
Yeah, how did that happen?
Well, that makes me look really bad.
Yeah,
but I don't have the ability. I don't think that's the reason why he's in San Diego today. I think he had some other things to take care of because he's flying himself on the day of the game to the game.
Oh, I didn't know.
Traveling. Yeah, he's traveling. That we had left. I mean, I don't know. We left. I left campus at 11 a.m.
Because I wanted to rip you because I'm like, Rich is here. Where's Jon?
No, Rich is not. Rich is not in Boise. He didn't travel to team.
Got it. Okay, that is the part of the equation that I didn't know. So I can't rip you.
Yeah. No, he's not here.
Yeah, I can't rip you. You went to the game last night. I was not there, but how'd they look? And anything stick out to you about the San Diego State exhibition against Cal State San Marcos?
Yes, the game.
The big game.
They looked really good. I mean, obviously it's hard to read much into it because of the opponent. We're just looking at San Diego State, but I think that honestly, I think the first possession of the game, I looked over maybe to Ted or to Richard, who works at San Diego State, and said, "Wow, we're gonna be tough on defense. We're long and athletic." And I mean, San Diego State's, that's what you like to say about the Aztecs. They look different though because they had veteran physical pieces previously, and that equated to a really good defense, and that was amazing. But this is different. I think you've got some really wiry athletic pieces. You've got bigger guards like Miles Bird, who's going to play a lot. You have Magoon Block, who's 7 feet. Jared Coleman-Jones defensively, I thought looked the part as a center. So they're just BJ Davis is an outstanding defender. I just think they're going to be really good on the defensive end. And then offensively, they played 2 scrimmages now. One of them was close door against UCLA. And then there was this one, and they scored it well. I mean, they've shot the ball well. So it was encouraging. Nick Boyd was great. He was in a walking booth for months, and he scored 18 points, was 7 of 8 from the floor. So, I think it was really encouraging. They just look long and lean and athletic and physical, so that they look the part. And we'll see if that's, we'll see what that means once the season starts.
In the role of BJ Davis with, the loss of Reese Waters here, it's kind of one of those things where, all right, see how much improvement you have made this past offseason. I think he has made, obviously, improvement in the scrimmage against UCLA. Last night, he looked good as well in some of the highlights that I saw. But what do you expect from BJ Davis this year, probably stepping into that role that Reese Waters had now that he's out for a couple months?
I mean, he looks just completely like, we didn't see him a lot last year.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say he looks like a new player because he didn't play a lot because, again, you have like the Lamont Butlers and Darion Trammell's and Reese Waters and Miles Birds. But he looks very comfortable. Like, to me, he doesn't even look like a young player. He kind of reminds me of like Lamont, maybe as like a second or third year player. Where like he just looks the part. Like, he's very good on defense. He's got a really pretty shot. Like I just think he's a well-rounded all-around guard. And I think he's going to be on display a ton, potentially all year. I think if he earns the opportunity, even when Reese returns, he's going to play a sizable role. But certainly in the first, 4-6 weeks of the season, he's going to be on the floor a lot. And I think it's a good thing. I mean, what I've seen, what I saw last night was a guy, you should see the defense he was playing. He was really hounding defensively, and he's just very comfortable on offense. He doesn't seem to force. So I think he's going to play a large role. I really do. And he did last night.
Did you ask Coach Lewis how are they going to stop and contain Ashton Jeanty or not?
Dude, I made fun of you. I made fun of you for like an hour straight when I did the coach's show.
What did you say?
I showed him. I'm like, my coach. I'm like, Jim. You've met him. We've done shows. He was in Vegas. He's like, yeah. I'm like, he said, I'm like, I took out my phone and showed him like the whatever the text block I created. I'm like, he says contain Ashton Jeanty. He's like, oh. Like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. So we just made fun of you basically at your expense. But
cool.
I also said that if you said that if they outscore Boise State, they'd be in good shape, and he agreed with that. I'm like, coaching's easy, right?
Dude, it's so easy.
Yeah, it's so easy. No, I mean, obviously it's a real challenge, and I actually said something today on a video, and I didn't realize I was incorrect. I thought he led the nation in rushing touchdowns. He actually does. He has 18. The Army quarterback has 19.
Huh?
Which is ridiculous. But he's a legitimate Heisman candidate. I don't know if he's going to get it. I don't know what he needs to do to get it. It's almost not even the point at this point. If he keeps doing what he does and has been doing, then Boise State's going to go, to the college football playoff, and he's going to have 2,500 rushing yards and maybe 30 touchdowns. So it's just priority number one. I don't know how he can be slowed. UNLV did a decent job last Friday night in Vegas. I think he had 33 carries, and they held him to like 130. I think anything you're under is probably a win, and you take the chances with the quarterback and the receivers and tight ends, but they got a good quarterback. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. So they can beat you multiple ways, but obviously the priority is Ashton Jeanty because he's been unbelievable. He really has.
And look, the spread in this game is, I think, 23.5 or something along those lines.
Right.
It's obviously going to be extremely tough on the road against a team that's trying to make the college football playoffs this year. But I said to Brent earlier in the day, that 1 out of 100 time that you potentially could pull off an upset here, not only would you pull off an upset, it would ruin Boise's season. Like, legitimately, this game, if somehow San Diego State pulled it off, which is going to be tough, like, it would ruin their season.
Completely. I mean, there's no question about it. I mean, Boise State is well positioned as you can be in the group of 5 to get to the expanded playoffs. You can't be in a better spot than they are. But that spot is always contingent on winning. So they have to win. And you're right, 23.5 points is a lot of points. But San Diego State last week was a 14.5 point underdog, and they led by 12 in the second half. They ended up losing the game. But, San Diego State's improvement. This is not an easy place to show progress necessarily on the road at night on the blue against maybe a historically good Boise State team. But if San Diego State keeps improving, you'd like to think they'll find a way in this game. So we shall see. There's no question about it. I think you beat Boise.
So free agency starts on, I think, Monday, right?
I
Monday?
think that's right.
Yeah, Monday. We've been talking a lot today about Jerks and Profar. Obviously, pitching is the number one thing, but like as far as your free agents go, you have to pick one guy that you want to return. You only pick one of their free agents. Profar, right?
I don't even know who else is the option.
Well,
Free
Kyle
agent.
Kyle
No.
Gashioka, Tanner Scott, David Peralta, Donovan Solano. That's what I got right now.
I mean, honestly, it's probably Tanner Scott. From a sheer baseball perspective, from what they're going to do and what they can afford and what he needs to team,
Yeah.
it's Profar. But from a sheer baseball move, if I'm a general manager, I can draw a player onto my roster. For next year, it would be Tanner Scott because he helps you win the postseason. I mean, he can help you get there, but he helps you win the postseason. That's critically important. But I think Profar is the most realistic there among those two players specifically. I mean, Tanner Scott, he's not returning. But I think if I could have him return, I would probably choose him among all free agents. But I think Profar makes a lot of sense. He makes sense for both parties. His best years have been in San Diego. He should still be relatively affordable. And I think it's a win for the budget because he has shown that he can be a part of a winning team. So I think it's a win for all parties. We'll see if they can actually get that done.
I still can't believe that you're not here and I'm sitting with a cardboard box over my head.
I know, but you've covered it. What I like is you've covered everything.
I really have. We've covered it all today. I was talking to we were talking about the coaches show, and I was like, could you imagine going an entire show without mentioning like the main talking point that people want to hear about, like Ashton Jeanty? Like, imagine doing an entire coaches show and you don't talk about Ashton Jeanty. Like, that'd be crazy, right?
That'd be crazy. You can't do that.
No, you can't. You can't do that. You got to
And that's why
talk
we're
about it
not
all.
doing it.
No, we don't. Not on this show. We talk about everything on this show, and we break it all down. Have a fun night in Boise, John. I don't think anyone's ever said that before. Have fun in Boise.
True.
Yeah.
Have a good Halloween.
Thanks.
Have a good Halloween with Aaron.
Thank you. I won't be doing much, but thanks. Bye.
I'll see you guys Monday.
Okay, bye. John's got a busy weekend. Very busy weekend. He's going to a bar mitzvah for his cousin on Saturday. He's got Boise tomorrow. So he's going everywhere. He's going to be in Boise tomorrow and tonight. And then he's got New York on Saturday, Brent. John's got a busy weekend. He's going Boise to New York for his cousin's bar mitzvah, then back to San Diego on Sunday. Like that's a trip right there.
Get some frequent flyer miles.
Yeah. Luckily the flight to Boise was chartered, so don't have to worry about that one. But again, who's saying let's go to Boise? Can't wait to go to Boise. Anyway. All right, coming up next, my back page. Sean Lewis Coaches Show starts at 6. Stay with us on Jon and Jim. fun show today, Brent. Even though John's not here, it's Halloween. I know you don't get tomorrow off, but I get tomorrow off.
Lucky you.
Because the Aztecs play at 5, 3 games starts at 3. So Jon and Jim is bumped tomorrow. We'll be back on Monday. But I had a fun show. We got to everything.
It was a good show. Like everything that people were talking about, we got to, and I'm glad that we had enough time to fully vet it out. But a couple more minutes left in the show. Brent, let's get to my back page. So because it's Halloween, everybody has deals, and here are the Halloween fast food deals. Now, I was having a discussion with Sammy before the show because I got Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
That how do you, I think we've talked about this before. How do you constitute a place being considered fast food? For me, it has to have a drive-thru.
It depends how long it takes. Like, I consider Little Caesars fast food, but they don't have a drive-thru because they have hot and ready. You can just walk in there, get a pizza, and walk right out. So I consider that fast food. So, like, Five Guys doesn't have a drive-thru.
No.
But I still consider Five Guys fast food opposed to, like, a Red Robin to where you have to sit down at a table and, like, wait for them to cook your burger. That's pretty much my thing. If you have to sit down and wait for them to cook your food and then bring it to you, then it's not fast food.
Okay.
Not necessarily, because like Sammy brought that up too before the show to me, and he's like, "Well, Subway's fast food. They don't have drive-thrus." I said, "But some Subways do have fast food or have drive-thrus because I've been to a couple that have had them. You just can't like customize your sub a lot. It's just like you have to get the base, so whatever you get."
So here's Halloween food deals that you could get. It's still Halloween. It's $5.52, but still Halloween. Yeah, you can get a $6 burrito if you arrive in costume to a Chipotle. You can get free 4-piece saucy nuggets.
Oh, speaking of Chipotle, do you see their portions are going to go back up?
Oh, no, I didn't.
I guess people were complaining that they were getting inconsistent sized portions or too small. And I guess Chipotle did an audit and they found out that the inconsistencies were just enormous.
Really?
So they said expect to start seeing bigger burritos at Chipotle.
Okay. You can get a free glazed donut if you show up in a costume to a Krispy Kreme. You can get a free 4-piece saucy nuggets with any purchase at a Wendy's. You can get Boo Go Wings, dine-in or takeout. You can get a buy one large pizza, get one free at 7-Eleven. You can get 31% off all scoops on the 31 flavors of Baskin Robbins. We talked about yesterday. You can get a free classic cookie from Insomnia Cookies if you dress in a costume. And Del Taco, you can get a Del Taco for $1 with any purchase in app. So there you go. It's pretty good. You know how when you go to McDonald's and the ice cream machine always breaks?
Yes.
It's a disaster. Well, things might be changing for ice cream machines that break at McDonald's because the U.S. Copyright Offices issued a new set of exemptions that allows restaurants to repair equipment used in, quote, retail level commercial food preparations, which includes those soft serve ice cream machines that are used to make McFlurries. So if a McFlurry machine breaks, guess what? McDonald's, they can fix it and don't have to worry about it. Because I guess like in the McDonald's, it's a big problem that when their McFlurry machine breaks, it's kind of like, well, there goes that. Not going to get fixed anytime soon. So
we know how that is. There's certain things in this building that,
oh my gosh,
our local engineers are not allowed to fix because we have to wait for some guy to log in Pennsylvania and fix it.
Right. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Why can't someone fix it in studio right now? They have to wait for someone else to fix it. So I get it. But if McFlurry machines break, ice cream machines break, well, then hopefully McDonald's will fix them right away. So that'd be nice. Yeah. So tomorrow, San Diego State takes on Boise. Tonight at 6 p.m., the Sean Lewis Coaches Show with Rich, and Coach Lewis and John talking about how they're going to stop Boise State and how they're going to stop Ashton Jeanty.
And J Riff's still unnamed high school football show is on after the coach's show.
Oh,
at
we're
7.
to bury the lead. I didn't even know that. So tonight, 7 p.m., we got the J Riff high school football show, which still doesn't have a really name yet, but I think that's the name.
That's a charm about it. It doesn't have a name yet.
There you go. Perfect. So we have a lot of content coming up here in a couple minutes. An hour long of the coaches show, and then an hour long of the high school. We did not talk about one thing today. Oh yeah, that's right. The Dodgers won their first legit World Series since 1988. All right, that's going to do it for Jon and Jim. We'll talk to you on Monday. Sean Lewis Coach Show coming up next. Stay with us right here on San Diego Sports 760. Have a great Halloween, everybody.